part on their inputs. So, not taking more time, I will give the floor to Maria. Maria, floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Good morning. Good evening, sorry, to everyone. I will start sharing the presentation, and then I will let me check. One moment. Okay. Let me.
Can you see the
can you
share
see?
button? Yeah.
Can you see the presentation?
Oh, yeah. A full screen mode, please. Yeah.
You can see. Okay.
Yes, clear. Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. I just introduce myself a little bit. Thank you a lot for the introduction at first. I'm Francesca Vecchione. I'm a food chain senior developer. I'm working in Arena since 15 years and started in the social accountability sector, and then I moved to the food related sector. And I'm working together with Simona that will be immediately after me. I will share with her this presentation. So I will do an introduction of what is the food waste and the reason why we decided to approach this kind of scheme, and she will give you more technical details about the schemes. Okay. The United Nations Agenda of 2030 has the aim of the sustainable development. On the 25 September of 2015, the government the 119 member countries of the United States has decided to plan this program, which is the aim is not to solve all the problem, but represent a good common basis to build a different world and offer to everyone with the chance to live in an environmental, social, and economical, sustainable world. So this is a global challenge that the United Nations has. These are the goals that they have in order to have a more sustainable world. And between this, as you can see, and I will share on the next slide, these are the main goals. And there is no poverty, zero hunger. This is why, we're talking about food waste now. Then good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economical growth, industry innovation, required inequity, sustainability cities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on hand, place and justice, and partnership for the goals. We can tell you that actually as certification body, we basically are during these last years trying to develop a standard for almost all these goals, because these goals are the aim of a better development for each country. And so the certification helps the company in order to get this goal, to reach this goal. On the 29th September, so this on this September, again for the 29th, it will be the International Day of Awareness of Food and Lost and Waste. This is really important. So, because the United Nations has decided on 2019 that this day will become a day of awareness, and the aim of this International Day is to promote awareness and collective action to reduce food and lost waste. So they have decided to declare a day in order to see which is the importance of this food, stop with the food loss and waste for helping the people as well as for helping the planet. I will give you some information about which is the reason why they decided to go on that purpose. The world's population is currently 8, according to United Nations data, 8.2 billion and is expected to grow to 9.7 billion by 2050. And ensuring a food secure where its current future population have access to sufficient nutrition food requires new ways of working and concentrated effort to improve the sustainability and resilience of agri-food system globally. So reducing the food and the loss helps to protect the animal, the natural resource and biodiversity, reducing pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and maximize the use of food produced. It's therefore central to securing efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainability agri-food system, and to improving food security, nutrition, and health. As you can see, this covers everything. Embracing the innovation and fostering the circular economy, which is also really important on this aspect approach in the agri-food system to prevent, reduce, and reuse and repropose the food loss wage, also serves to create new job opportunities, improve livelihoods, and generate financial benefits. So now they say, the United Nations says that now it's the time for everyone. So from producer, for investor, for businesses, for supply chain stakeholders, to consumers of all age, as well as academia and research, civil society, private and public sector, to take urgent action and expand the strengthened efforts both individually and collectively in order to reduce the food loss and waste. Now more and in the future. Where is the maximum loss and waste? This is some numbers that the United Nations have provided. An estimated 13% of the food is the equivalent on 1.25 billion tons was lost globally after the harvest and prior to reaching retail shelves. So an estimated 19% of food, which is the equivalent of 1.05 billion tons, was wasted in household, food service, and retail. An household account of 60% is the total of the food waste, and approximately the 28.9% of the global population, 2.23 billion people, were moderately or severely food insecure in 2023. 1 about 11 people in the world faced hunger in 2003. Food and loss generate 8 to 10,000. So this means that we are wasting a lot of food, a lot of resources, and in the meantime, a lot of people suffers of hunger. This is why the United Nations has decided to try to improve that. As you know, we are an Italian company, and we started working on the created this standard on the basis of the European Commission information. So I've just highlighted a couple of information that the European Commission have provided us during the last couple of years. So where it created the most food waste according to the European Union, also according to the European Union, the food waste occur at all the level, as we talked before, the supply chain, so from farm to fork. However, the largest is generated by the consumption, which is the focus area of the prevention progress that European Commission has created. Previous estimate of consumer food waste, household and food service has been significantly underestimated according, by the way, the United Nations Environment Programme Food Waste Index report. Globally, the total food waste generated in retail and consumer is now estimated 121 kilo per capita, with 61 from household, 26 from food service, and 13 from retail. So the number are the same from Europe and United Nations. What it has decided to do, the European Commission, with this memo is the measurement. The measurement is the key of the food prevention, because it ensures a clear evidence base for building effective strategies. So the revised European legislation adopted in May 2019 have introduced food waste prevention measures that will provide the European Union with new consistent data on food waste levels. Based on this data, the Commission will define references for European food waste level. They are still working on this law because it was in 2003, but is still in process. And the new legislation will require all the state member to implement this national food waste. So this is why we started before on working on that standard, because the United Nations has defined this point, but the European Union has defined this point as mandatory. So all Europe must adapt to this new legislation. And according to the European Union, why is it important to reduce food waste? It's important because almost 59 million of tons of food waste are generated every year in the European Union, with the associated market value of 132 billion euros. So this is not a matter of social matter of also, saving the people from hunger, but also saving money. Eurostat rightly estimates that around the 10% of the food made available to European consumer is retail food service, and household is wasted. So basically, these are the same data. So this is why the measurement, so in this case, is so important for European Union. Measurement is the key of food prevention and ensure an evidence base to build effective strategies. Thanks to the revised waste legislation adopted in May 2018, waste prevention measures have been introduced, and which will provide new consistent data on food waste levels. Is there a common methodology for measuring food waste in the European Union? The Commission actually has adopted a common European methodology for measuring food waste to support the member states in quantifying food waste at every stage of the food supply chain process. Based on a common definition, the methodology will ensure consistent monitoring. So the European Union, with this memo, actually has provided not only the data that United Nations has provided, but also some idea about the measurement, about the food waste. And this is why it became for us so important also to develop this kind of scheme. Can food donation help to reduce the food waste? Also, a food donation, facilitating the food donation, is a priority area of European action with a plan to prevent the food waste. So the idea that they give us is when a surplus of food is generated that is safe and suitable for human consumption, the preferred destination is to make available to people in need. So in this way, they have defined some focal points that every country can decide how to approach. Our guideline was the idea to help companies and states on this aspect. So this is why we have created this standard that we have called the Go to Food Saving. And we have developed this standard with the same basis of the high-level structure standard, so all the common management system. But then we have, of course, defined all the points according to the information of European Union as well as of United Nations data. And Simona will talk you later about that. Just last information about that. We started with developing this scheme a couple of years ago, and during this year, actually also ISO saw the importance of this matter and decided to create this, which is the ISO DIS 22001. So it's an ISO under development at the moment, and we are part of this development because, of course, our knowledge, it's something that can help on creating something. So we will be part of the creation of this ISO. And of course, the company that decide to get certified before with us will be already aligned in this kind of ISO kind of certification. And I will thank you for the attention, and I give you the word to Simona that will describe you better all the technical detail of our. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. I will share. Okay. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, very clear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for giving us, Turina, the opportunity to explain and to describe this new standard. I'm Simona Gulacci. I'm the head of food product management. In my team, we manage all type of food certification standard from ISO 22000 until BRC, IFS, and so on. But in my team, we also develop new standard because when we think that it could be an opportunity for a new market. This is what happened for Go to Food Saving, and as Maria Francesca told before, the standard is has been structured according to the high-level structure, so it could be very easier to integrate the standard with other food safety management systems, such as ISO 22000, but only with, for example, 14000. Why? Allora, to who is could be applied this standard? The organization that could apply this standard are any type and size, public and private, involved in every stage of the agri-food supply chain. So from post-harvest collection until catering and distribution, retailer, and so on. What have the organization have to do in order to apply? The organization has to evaluate the causes of food waste and their significance in environmental, social, and economic terms, and establish measurable objectives in order to monitor continuous improvement, like any type of management standard. As we told before, any type of organization, public and private, from post-harvest primary collection until distribution and also collective catering. This is very important because, for example, a single organization could apply the standard, but it's very important for a food supply chain in order to better describe the valorization or that, for example, implement in order to reduce food waste. Which is the first part of the standard. The first part is to understand the boundaries. The boundaries is which is the part of the food chain or the organization that is applied this type of standard. I have prepared here a slide in order to describe which are the boundaries. First of all, the food category. The organization has to decide which is the food category will be included in the Go to Food System food system management system. So they have to understand, for example, if we are in a retailer, the retailer has to decide to apply the standard to only fruit and vegetable products or all food products they sold in the market. Another part is the life cycle stage. For example, for a single organization, it's important to understand that it could be applied from purchase of raw material until distribution and of the product. If we are in a food supply chain, we have to understand which part of the food chain are involved in the product. for example, from post-harvest until production or until distribution. Geography. Define the geographical area to which the Go-To food safety system is applied. It is very important because, for example, an organization could be applied the standard to all Indian organization, but or some of the Indian organization or all around the world. This is another part that could be in order to start and to define better which approach use for reduce food waste. And also it's important to understand which organization are involved. For example, all type of organization of a company. For example, if the company that asked us this type of organization and they both their business is catering and also market, they decide to apply only to market, not to catering, for example. After this type of definition of the boundaries, the organization assess food waste production which is established, taking into account environmental, social, and economic aspect, identify the strategies to measurable objective in order to reduce food waste, then verify the effectiveness of their strategies, and monitoring and evaluate the progress allows to approach waste reduction with a view to continuous improvement, like any type of ISO management system. In the standard, you will find the two type of definition of food waste. You will find food loss and food waste because food loss, but is the same at the end. Food loss is the food waste produced from post-harvest until production, and so is loss of food that occurs before the food reaches the consumer. Food waste is the waste that occurs after food has reached the consumer. So from distribution until supermarket, restaurants, and so on. You could find also this definition in other type of regulation, international regulation. So we have decided to maintain this type of definitions the same way. In the standard, you will find that is the food waste hierarchy. Okay, this is the way in which an organization has to approach this standard. First of all, the prevention at source. So the organization has to define all the prevention activities to reduce food waste. So avoid surplus food generation in the world food chain value. Donation and distribution of surplus food, as Francesca told before, when surplus food is useful because it's food safety is for human consumption. First of all, you have to donate. That is the product food, and then after these first prevention and donation activities, the organization has to carry out all the other valorization of waste. First of all, use for animal feed, when the food is no longer intended for human consumption. Industrial uses, transforming food-based material, not waste, into the value products such as pharmaceutical and cosmetics. Then recycling and nutrient recovery, so transforming food waste into low added value products such as compost and biogas with use of nutrients, construction material, and other type of food packaging products, energy recovery, so the production of biogas and biofuel from food waste incineration, and at least disposal. Okay. You can find here in the standard, you can find all the type of activity in order to prevent the production of food waste, from purchase and selection of raw materials involved in the food supply chain where possible, method of storage and conservation of raw material, and also the supply and distribution logistic of raw materials. As you could understand, in storage and distribution logistics is very important. For example, the temperature on the supply chain in order to reduce food waste. It's very important to the processing technologies and packaging materials, new packaging materials, because they could extend the shelf life of the product, as we can find now a new type of technologies that could extend the shelf life. Communication on the use of storage method for the product through the supply chain and also to the consumer. For example, find in some new packaged food product, how use better the product after cooking, or if it has been open for some day. External partnership are important because you could improve the use of subproduct to valorize better the food and reduce food waste. And as we told before, the donation but is one of the most important method in order to do not waste the food product. Here you can find some example that we have find also in some first certification companies that have decided to certify with us. For example, some companies decided, in order to prevent the reduction of food waste, to implement the reduction of the size of the plate. For example, for cruise ship, change menu recipe in order to for better for all type of consumer. Sizing of raw material packages. Okay, it depends about the type and the activity of the organization. Involving in the supply chain, raw materials and packaging, purchase order to reduce, data logger monitoring. So it's very important. Replacing refrigeration system. So as you can understand, also maintenance is very important in this type of standard. So after I've decided the way to reduce, to prevent reduction of food waste, you have to monitor and to find the key indicators to monitor the reduction. Other destination. After the prevention and the donation given, the organization has to demonstrate all the valorization given on the food waste according the hierarchy that we have, the food waste hierarchy that we have seen before. So animal feed, industrial uses, biochemical processing, anaerobic digestion, composting, agronomic spreading, treatment without regenerative recovery or with regenerative recovery, and at least disposal. In the standard, you also will find how another part after the prevention. You have to calculate. You have to reduce the food waste, to donate, when you have to calculate food waste, you have to follow this a kind of method that we have defined according other regulation. You will find also in this type of calculation will be also present in the ISO, the new ISO for food waste management. So you have to to have a reference period, the time period for collecting food waste data, in order that you will be ensured that the comparability of the data with another period. Okay. Type of evaluation, the evaluation criteria that may concern only food, only inedible parts, or both. It depends, as we have seen before. You have to take in consideration the food category that the organization has chosen on boundaries. Okay, so for example, only fruit and vegetables for a retailer, or red meat for also the retailer, or for the catering categories. Another important information is the source of quantification, the method used to quantify food waste. In this slide, you can find which are the methods could be used. Okay, direct methods when you weighing or volume of discarded food waste, but sometimes it's not so possible. You can also use a combined methods, direct methods and indirect methods. For example, analysis of company data, traceability records, delivery notes, use of inventories, sales, and mass balance. So the company has to choose the better methods that could give us the calculation. We understand that at the beginning of the implementation of this standard, it's not so easy to apply, to implement the best method for calculate food waste. So for us at the beginning, it's enough to introduce an economic method in order to understand which is food waste. Then the organization could apply, could implement the methods that could give us a better objective data. So after the method use for food waste, the organization has to valorize the food waste, and so given to us how the method used for valorizing food waste according to the waste hierarchy, if it's possible, because sometimes there are also some problem with for example, also for donation is a problem of there are logistic problems, for example, also for biogas, not always are present the right company in the area in which the organization is sited. This standard, as you have seen, is very is applicable as a circular economic solution. So it's very, but we will see the advantage of this standard after. Okay, now the certification steps are: fill the informative questionnaire, the organization will receive an offer, a pre-audit could be important in order to understand the boundaries, and sometimes to have the possibility to compare with the certification body, which is the best method for calculate food waste. Then will be the on-site audit and the release of the certificate with the surveillance for each year during the third period of certification. The advantages of the standard. So the organization could improve processes, manage, and result is in cost reduction. Valorization of surpluses and according circular approach. So this standard could be integrated perfectly with circular economy standards such as ISO 59 series, and another. The uni is located in Italian. I think that for you is not so important. You can be demonstrated in line with SDGs, provide assurance and recognition through third-party certification by independent bodies. You can also promote interest from investors, partners, authorities. For example, in Italy and Europe, at the moment, it is part of certification, demonstrate very interest from authorities, investors, and partners, and also recognize the brand also through the use of the logo that we have seen before. This is the SDGs related to the standard. As you can see, there are the 2, 3, 6, 12, 13, and 15 related to this type of standard. So it could be useful also for communicate the implementation and valorization that an organization would give to all stakeholders. I think now I have finished. If I'm at your disposal for any question, and thank you very much for have hear me. Sorry, I have to come back. Your screen sharing. Okay, stop share. Sorry.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Simona. We will take the questions towards the end. I hope it is fine.
Okay.
Am I audible? Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll just move with the next speaker. Krishna.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Krishna. You want me to share your PPT, Krishna?
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah. 1 second.
Yeah, can we go to the full screen mode, please?
Yeah, I'm just doing it.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. And I mean, the session so far has been so interesting. It's a topic which is very close to everyone's heart because we all know food waste appears to be one of the biggest problems everywhere. So a perspective that I could just add to the whole thing was how about changing our mindsets? How about looking at the way we feed ourselves, the feeding change? So that's something that just touched me in a big way, and I thought we can speak about it. This, in fact, it's very interesting to know that Reena has taken on, addressing one of the sustainable development goals. So thank you so much for taking this on. And the standard is pretty well aligned to reaching the SDG in some way. So nice. Thank you so much. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we all are aware that, there's so much of food waste, which we always see in the newspapers. It's like the figures are really quite huge. It's like over 1/3 of the waste that really gets produced is wasted. So I mean, this is something that every person who's in the value chain, right from the farmer to the consumer, every one of us need to be cautious about. And of course, we can see that how much of it gets wasted, and the figures are really astronomical. The other side of this is that millions of them don't even get food to eat. So, what are we talking about? We are talking about food that's available and it's getting wasted. And then we are talking about starving. We are talking about people being hungry. So this paradox is something that's concerning, because whatever said and done, we all cohabit on this planet. So we are staying on this planet together. So it's a responsibility. We are all accountable for reducing this waste in the best possible way and take it forward, so that at least we reduce the hunger to some extent. So this is just a mission, I think. I mean, Reena has taken it on as a mission, and it's very, very interesting. Next slide, please, ma'am. So though we are all aware that the food waste that happens impacts us in a big way, like there's an impact on the environment, there's an impact on the people, there is impact on so many other features across the globe. But the biggest factor is that each of us know that there is an impact, but what are we doing to reduce the impact? So, of course, we on and off we come to know about a few actions that are taken, and those actions, though they make some difference, but they are very, very limited. So, when you introduce a food safety, food waste management system standard, definitely it looks like more people will adopt it in the entire value chain, and they will at least ensure that at where they are in the value chain, they take care of the food waste in a proper way. So when we talk about the impact, the impact is today seen everywhere, because we are able to get the data, we are able to evaluate what is getting impacted. Earlier, probably we were not thinking about it so much. So when we were talking about this food waste to somebody here in India, one of the biggest things that came up was that you are using a lot of resources. So you have restaurants where there are plate full of food which gets wasted. And then we also came across a restaurant which had put up, you may have the money to waste this food, take it on the plate and not eat it. But please understand, it's the resource of this planet. So we all need to be very, very careful about the way we talk about food and the way we prevent it from getting wasted. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide.
No, just a second. It's just got stuck, I guess. Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, not a problem. So we are, in fact, when we talk about food waste, it's not only like one person in the value chain needs to take care about it. It's everyone in the value chain. It's right from the farmer, who has to have the appropriate ways to, harvest the produce. Then it has to be distributed in the right way to the godowns. It has to be stored in the correct way. It has to be then processed in the correct way. All these processing or all these interventions that we do with the food till the time it reaches the consumer plays a very, very important role as far as determining the reason for food waste is concerned. Like today, most of us are working on how to enhance the shelf life of the food so that we can store the food for some more time and reduce it from getting wasted. Yes, this is one of the intervention. But what we need to really look at is how can we really have the right kind of input material so that the food does not get deteriorated in a short period of time. So this is something that can be a topic of discussion, can be taken in, for understanding at the farm level, so that we know that, okay, we can enhance the shelf life from there itself. When we talk about the sources of food waste, we all know that we, including the people at home, even we are responsible for wasting food. And that has evolved over a period, why we waste food. So we cannot just say that the food gets wasted in the hotels, or food gets wasted in the manufacturing, or food gets wasted in the stores, in the storage, or the warehouse. Food even gets wasted where we are in our homes. Like, I would really like to ask each one of us here, how many of you remember, seeing that the food is almost near expiry, and you have done some intervention to ensure that you don't have to throw it in the dustbin? Many a times we don't do it. Many a times we forget about it. Many a times we forget to store the food in the right condition, in the right temperatures, and that leads to a waste. So the sources of food waste are numerous. And I understand that this particular standard actually talks about identifying that source itself and trying to address it from the source. And that's very interesting. Like, the moment you start addressing something at the source, it definitely has a huge impact in the entire value chain. Next slide, ma'am.
1 second, Krishna. It is actually getting stuck. I'm just wondering why.
Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry.
Now, when we talk about the causes of food waste, there's a very interesting thing that showed up. What could be a probable cause? One of the cause that I saw was that we usually go to the markets, we pick up maybe raw vegetables or fruits. What do we really do? We pick up the vegetable or the fruit which looks nice. We do not pick up the fruit or the vegetable which has a little, maybe a mark on it, or is not the correct shape. Now, let us be careful about it, and let us be mindful about understanding that even this is a food waste. Even this is leading to a food waste. So, what do we really do? We are talking about even our choices. We are also somewhere the cause of that food waste. And where we are causing the food waste, we need to be mindful about it. There are things like expired or spoiled food. Okay. So when it is near expiry, do we really take the ownership of using it up or doing something with it so that, the food can be consumed? For example, milk has a 3-day shelf life. The fresh milk that we get, the pasteurized milk, right, in the pouch, not the Tetra Pak. So if we are not consuming it within 3 days, do we take care of converting it into curd? Or do we take care of converting it into cottage cheese and consuming it then? Or we just throw away the milk? This is a point of thought. This is something that we can really think about, and also, figure out ways in how we can really prevent the food from getting into the expiry or food from spoiling. Then there are things like customer preferences. We all talk about eat local, eat nutritious, eat the fruit or the vegetable of the season, but still we love going for exotic fruits and vegetables. We love going for vegetables or fruits which are, not of the current season. So there is a customer preference around it. Most of the restaurants or hotels, if we see, there is a very poor portion control. One of the examples is, if you are staying in a hotel and you order food for a single person, some of the food will definitely get wasted because we don't consume the entire thing. And then, of course, we have poor inventory. We have some unforeseen events like natural calamities, flooding, so on and so forth. So all this somewhere lead to a cause of food waste generation. Next slide, ma'am. And so, many of us may be actually working maybe at home. We may not be directly working in a factory, or maybe we are not associated with the value chain. But even at home, there is food waste because of reasons like improper storage. We cook more food and we keep it. Or, when we serve our guests, we serve big portions. We usually do not like to eat the fruits or the vegetables where the shape is not correct, or the shape is not as per what we prefer. Then many of us buy foods and we don't know how to read the food label correctly, and then we tend to throw it away. We do not look at the allergen notes when we are buying it in the supermarket. We bring it home and then we see it, and then we find that we cannot use that food. Many a times there are offers in the supermarkets, so we buy more food. We buy more products, and then we know that, oh, half of them have expired. So all these things, even at our home front, is leading to a waste, leading to food waste. Next slide, ma'am. So when we talk about this feeding change, the mindset, what are we talking about? So this is something that has attracted me everywhere, wherever I have gone for audits, especially for if you're auditing the Eat Right initiatives. Most of the canteens, most of the campuses, they usually put up this board wherein, it's very beautiful, because they literally point it to your eye that if you're wasting the food, you have actually left somebody hungry. So we need to really pick up things like this, wherein we create awareness, we create prevention, there is redistribution, partnerships, we understand upcycling, we understand composting, we do community engagements, we understand, we impact people such that there is some behavioral change in people. So many of us, we may want to eat a lot of food because it looks interesting, but we cannot consume it. So there is some behavioral change that's needed there. And this has to be done on a regular basis. So especially, we found wherever people have implemented some systems like this, the behavioral change has shown up, and people are very mindful about what's there on their plate. They ensure that they eat it up. They do not waste that food. So some solutions which even the standard talks about is the donation programs, food recovery, then some innovations wherein we can do some shelf life tracking, redistribution, composting, upcycling, collaboration with food banks, mindful consumption, smart storage. Now, one example of upcycling that I've seen in the Indian dairies is when they have a lot of whey, they usually added to the curd to make buttermilk. So the buttermilk also becomes very nutritious. So they are preventing the impact on the environment, and here they are adding a lot of nutrition to the buttermilk that they are supplying. So we can all think of ways in which we can upcycle the products. Next slide, ma'am. So, this is some food bank which we had seen in Visakhapatnam, where they donate, they have this community fridge and they donate food. So they come and keep it there. And this is free of cost, so anyone can come and pick it up. So at least they ensure that the food is in good state when they are keeping it in the fridge, so that it doesn't cause harm to the people who are picking it up. And then, of course, there are a number of organizations who are working on a lot of food waste, and they are upcycling it. They are making value-added products out of it, which definitely builds up the essence of the standard. That if you are upcycling, if you are adding value to the food waste, then definitely you are handling it in a way that it does not impact the environment, or it does not just become dead at the end of the day and just go into a landfill. So we are preventing all of it. And this is what is very interesting about the standard, that it allows you to, it at least recognizes your effort at, preventing the food from getting wasted. Next slide, ma'am. So implementing the standard, the food waste standard, it's just not a good practice, but it is actually a powerful step towards accountability, sustainability, and leadership in feeding a better future. So, in fact, we all need to really think not of today, but of tomorrow. So, if we end up wasting resources, then we are leaving a darker planet for the next generation. So, let's all be mindful about what we do with our food. Let's all be, let's all adopt the standard at least and see where we can fit the standard in the value chain and take the best of it and ensure that the food waste over a period at least gets reduced. Thank you so much. And thanks once again, Maria and Simona, for building such a beautiful standard. Thank you so much.
Shantanu ji? Shantanu ji? Not audible, not clear, Shantanu ji. Just a second. No, there's a disturbance in your voice. How about others? Because I get some disturbance in your voice. Yeah, please continue. We'll see.
Okay. Is it improved now?
Yeah, this is clear now. Perfect.
Thank you. So again, I welcome all the team from RENA and audience from India and abroad. Myself, Shantanu Gupta, and after working in the field of food for near about the entire life, the 30 years, I will be pleased to deliver something on food safety here. Right. So first of all, my understanding about this is that whatever the expertise we have, actually the prime requirement is that we should be human, so that any standard or any expertise we have could be implemented effectively. Now, regarding the food waste, it is just not, I would say, limited to the monetary value, and it is more than that. We will see what is there. And if I speak of the food waste, I feel it starts from the glass of water. We should have that much of water we wish to drink instead of having the full water. And in the name of hospitality, we should also take care of that. The water should be served that is sufficient to quench the thirst, right? Just not to have a good hospitality. So this is a prime requirement, what I understood. And regarding the standard, let us see how this standard will help in reducing the food waste as a smart standard. So the real cost of waste. So when a business wastes of food, so it is not just limited to the food only. It is the resources, as very well spoken or put light on the matter by the previous speakers, and the trust as well. Right?
Shantanu ji, I'm sorry. Shantanu ji, I'm sorry. Full screen mode. Can you please move your presentation to full screen mode?
Yeah, full screen mode. I have here in the full screen.
We are not getting. Actually, it is still in the presentation mode only. Full screen mode we are not getting. Yeah, please do once again. Let us see.
Is it there?
No, it's not coming. Maybe anyhow. Please continue. Yeah.
So I think the PPT is with you also. The team can, if they can share. This is.
It's okay. Please continue. No issues.
Thank you, madam. So when the business waste of food, it is not about money, it is a trust also. Let us see how it is. So it is not, I would say, uh, when food is wasted, it is not just about the lands ends up in the landfill. It is never reaches its potential. As we have seen, there are so many areas in the world in which the food is not available. I myself work with some of the programs regarding community management of acute malnutrition in some parts of the Odisha, in which the scarcity of food is there. So, what are the reasons? What I feel is that overstocking, inventory management is one of that. Pest management is also there. So, misjudged food portions are also there, as Madam has speak about that. How much to serve and how much to have on the plate. Then unsafe and mismanaged food. This is the only food which I feel should go to the landfill. Unsafe food only, right? Overcooked, underused, and unclaimed. These are the other areas that could lead to the food wastage. Now, coming to this standard and the scope of this standard and the food itself. So, I feel as far as the other industries are there, right, like automobile, textile, it is limit. I'm not dealing with any experience of the automobile industry, but food is that item that is being linked to the every human being or every living being, right? So the scope of the standard, I would say, start from the beginning, from the very toddler to that oldest person, because everyone is having the food. So they should be in kind of a behavioral, I would say, setup, behavioral mindset that food should not be wasted. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, so it is one of the oldest, I would say, the really Indian documented uh, book, documented evidences, or being written by the sagas. I would rather mark them the social scientists. That annam na nidhyant. Do not disrespect the food. It means wasting of food. It is just not an impact on the environment. It has an impact on the, I would say, psychology or mindset also, right? So in Indian culture, food is not a commodity only. It is a sacred thing. So it covers the entire set of mindset, or what I would say, the behavioral change. Everything is being related to the food. So every grain food is being considered the Brahm. It means in totality the universe. So wasting food, for me, it's not a financial loss or monetary loss only. It is a moral failure. So I wish this standard should be extended up to the, I will say, the up to the school level, at the elementary level. Then next is that all about the data. 40% of the food produced is never consumed, and monetary value in India is all around 90,000. It's economical and moral norms not to treat the food as a byproduct, but starting recognizing the food as a hidden asset. So in our context, we say that "Jaisa khayan vaisa ho man." So it is, I would say, the food is not related to the body only or the economy only. It is also related to the psychology or the mental health. It goes up to that level. So this standard, about this standard, yes, this standard is a modern framework with deep impact. So I have prepared 3 slides regarding the standard. So it is a structure system. As I go through that, the very well structured as in line with the other standards, different clauses in the same pattern, and this follows the ISO high level structure. It is applicable to all public and private organization, as the standard says, and it is not limited to the food organizations only. It is also being applicable to the every kitchen. For example, if Samsung is there, Samsung is not in the food business, but they have the kitchen in there, right? Kitchen, they have the kitchen for their employees. So this standard could be applicable to that area also. Next is about the slide. So it enables what the standard speaks about. It enables the traceability of the waste. Just to evaluate, I think, and it helps a lot. What are the areas that to work upon? Quantification of the food loss. Okay, so and process-based corrective actions. I just want to share one experience that when we approach retailers, okay, the food retailers, when they go for the pest control only. So in managing the pest, they could reduce the food wastage. Their financial loss could be lost. They can make sure the food is being served is the food is, which is being sold is safe. And third, the most important, they contribute somewhere to the wealth of the nation without reducing the food waste. So I think the standard also applicable to that area. And adaptation of food waste hierarchy, it starts from the prevention, reuse, recycling, recovery, and landfill. So landfill to me is the last option, which is to be applicable to the unsafe food only. And the third one slide regarding that particular standard, that is go for food saving. It demands organizations to define their boundaries for impact, product, process, and locations. Their food waste, KPIs, low cost per kg, all these are there. Actions in emergencies, from refrigeration failure to logistic delays. So this could also be the key area. And I think this particular standard should not be just limited to the certification, but as a standard, it should be become a practical thing, a behavioral thing that is to be considered even at the elementary level. And regarding that standard, when I go through the standard, I see this particular terminology, go for food safe management system, is being repeated more than 25 times in the standard. So I think instead of writing go for food standard, this is my just suggestion to you. It should be can that it is a standard or like that, some common terminology, replacing with simple system or standard that is there. So as a consultant, what I feel my role is that what we I myself as a consultant follow this standard or giving the reference of this standard, we should start measuring the waste, that what every kg of raw material has a monetary and carbon value, the mass balance and the traceability, re-engineering the SOPs. There may be the different SOPs, inventory management, pest management, multiple the storage, everything could be arranged. And even the food portions, if we speak of the catering or hospitality sector, innovate with the recovery in mind, tie up with the NGOs or food distributions, launch second chance product line. So recently, or I would say not recently, FSSAI has a very beautiful initiative. The FSSAI is a regulatory authority in India that regulates the food. So they initiated the very effective initiative to tie up with the NGOs for the food distribution. And designing of circularity, go to food saving, emphasis on reuse, recovery to audit your byproducts. And the second is the exact compounds or for a new revenue. So this is I would say the technological part that would be considered how the food waste could be reduced or minimized. And okay, so there is the next. So taking it beyond the standard, as I wish it should be, it should not limited to the food business. It must be applied to the every individual. So because food is not the food industry's activity, it is everyone's. It is not an automobile industry or that is to be fixed with some standard. It is a behavioral aspect. Okay, every child, every person, every being who is every being is consuming the food. So they should understand what the importance of the food. So it begins from the home, plate, serving, portions, glass overfilled. This is all I have told. A child discarding half of his or lunch because it is not spoiled actually, but because it was served or without knowing how much he or that particular fellow will eat. And the food waste should start from that school. That behavior should start from there. If similarly in the wedding, this is all being discussed. So while the standard focus on the system, I would say and insist that culture must shift to the behavioral responsibility. Because in my this experience of 30 years, I've seen that there are so many standards, but somewhere the standards are being followed just to have the certificate. Okay, implementation part or practicality is very far off. And when this becomes behavior, I'm dead sure that it becomes practice, and when practice becomes a mindful, it becomes a culture. And from this standard, giving the reference to that standard, I would say the standard, the Vedas which are already there in Indian culture regarding the food waste, every component is there. So one thing I would like to share that in Ayurveda, there was a concept of 1/3 portion of the food. Okay, some 1/3 portion is like that, that we have to just keep our bowl empty. 1/3 we have to keep our bowl. So 1/3 of the bowl is to be filled with the food solid. 1/3 of the bowl is to be filled with the water, and 1/3 is with the air. So this is the concept we are working on. We have there to live healthy. So just to summarize, from Vedas to values to the verified system, I would say this standard should cover all these things. To reduce the food waste, we must go beyond factories, food chains, and reach to our homes, schools, canteens, and even the consciousness, right? So I sincerely believe that this standard, particular standard, deserves a place in the academic institutes and as a curriculum. If we really want to have this monetary benefits or all of what we have just discussed. So just because teaching our next generation and how not to waste is as important as teaching them how to cook, produce, or sell food. And in the last, I would say, the last slide, the food waste is not a cost. It is an untapped monetary asset. So rethinking with this particular standard, I really appreciate that we have such standard on board or by the UN, the efforts of the UN or whatever it is. This standard comes into the picture. And again, in Indian context, we've defined the food as a Brahm. So Brahm means everything, which surrounds us, everything. So it has not impact on the monetary value, but yes, on also the mental values or moral values. So let's transfer the food waste from the silent loss to the powerful opportunity through wisdom, strategy, and standards. May the go for food safety standard inspire better business, responsible consulting, and value-based living. Iti Sarvesham. May this benefit all. Thank you. Thanks again. Over to you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shantanu-ji. There are a couple of questions in the chat box, Krishna. Will you please look into it and then see maybe who will be able to answer? Let me just look at the questions. Quickly, there are only 3 or 4 questions. I think we can cover it. There is one question from Dr. Srimati Neeraja, okay, from Hyderabad. In horticulture, fruits and vegetables, so much loss, around 25 to 40% post-harvest losses. So the measures to avoid this, especially from a distribution market chain perspective. So who would like to answer this? Maria, Krishna, Shantanu-ji, one of you?
May I?
Maria? Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Simona will be the right person to answer it.
I think she left actually.
Yeah,
She
unfortunately,
posted a message that.
She was having because
she was
in
actually
an
she had to
audit.
leave.
So unfortunately, the measure to avoid the harvest losses actually depends about the company, depends about what we have defined in our standard are the kind of methods that must be verified, but they are depending from each company. So this is why now we have a certified mainly distribution company. So, for example, we didn't certify yet horticulture company. So we don't have this data at the moment because, as we told you, is a recent scheme. So we created last a couple of years ago. We started certifying last year, but mainly in the distribution company. So, but basically, we define this data considering each individual company. So, what we have done has been creating a standard with some defined point that has also been defined according to the European legislation, which has some more strict information. I was also seeing there is a question from the legislation in Germany. Actually, we don't have an update about the precise legislation in Germany, but it's a European regulation that is defining step, and each country in Europe has to adapt to the European legislation. So we can tell you that I mean we don't have. By the way, the measure are that defined as before on usually when the food is so in this case the fruit and vegetable are just partially damaged and can be used for human consumption. So in this case, they are being redistributed in some other production. For example, if the apple is not enough, is not anymore a perfect apple, can use it for juice or something like that. Otherwise, will go on the food and feed, and then for also for the vitamins, and so it depends about all the other products. But we can tell you that, I mean, we can give you a proper answer just generically. We have defined the standard, but then we will do the method considering each company individually.
Yeah, thank
Don't
you.
know if I have answered your question.
Thank you. Shantanu ji, you were about to, you wanted to answer this also quickly, please. Shantanu ji, are there? Okay. And there's anyhow, we'll move on to the next question.
Yes, I was there, but
so yeah, Shantanu ji, you're there. Yeah, you wanted to answer that also, maybe briefly, please, on the horticultural question on.
Yes, so from this point of view, madam, but I also do some kind of agriculture. Okay, I have that experience also. So what I feel regarding the post harvesting, first is that awareness among the farmers. Okay, how to handle it. I have seen that mishandling of food is there on the roads if they are going for drying. Second is that development of infrastructure. We have lack of infrastructure regarding the post harvesting. So that is the two things, just in a crisp way, I would like to say. Over to you. First is the awareness among the farmers. Second is the development of infrastructure regarding the cold strain or cold atmosphere, controlled atmosphere.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a question from Mr. Vivek Nair. He wanted to know about the name of the standard, and they have clarified that the standard name is, what is the name of the standard and its acceptance level in India. It is the standard derived by RENA, and how is it accredited globally? So again, Maria, we need your intervention here.
Absolutely. The standard name is actually already listed downstairs by Simone. It's Go to Food Saving. Actually, we named this standard as we were having another standard similar, which is Go to Food Carbon. So Go to Save Carbon. So and we have also created the logo according to that. And the standard is a management system standard, so it lasts for 3 years, and we have a surveillance audit, because I saw that there was another question about that.
Yeah.
And we delivered the standard, because we have created the standard. So this is a standard of property of RINA. So we will deliver in India through our colleagues in India as well. And the acceptance level, actually, it depends. I mean, this is a standard that it's owned by us, so it's not accredited by an accreditation body. At the moment, is not existing an ISO standard. As I told you before in the presentation, there is a standard which is under construction now. So they are creating this standard, and we are part of the team that of the technical tables that are creating this kind of standard. But at the moment, it doesn't exist any kind of standard similar to ours. So what is the aim of the company, why the company should be requesting this kind of standard? Because in case, for example, later they are intending to be certified with the ISO scheme, they have already everything in place, because with our standard everything will be in place. So they will have just to adjust a couple of issues that maybe the standard, the ISO standard will define, but basically everything will be managed. Of course, it's definitely easier if the company has already a management system in process, for example, an ISO 1901 management system. So we usually have delivered at the moment the standard together with this one. So we go to the 9001 audit, and together we deliver the go to food saving standard, and it has been working really perfectly from saving money point of view, because of course they are doing the audit together. So it's also more convenient for the company for the man days and the cost. Thank you. I don't know if
a quick question here. So since it's your own standard, I just wanted to check. So you're the certification body, or you have developed the scheme, you're the owner of the standard?
Yeah, we are the owner of the standard. Yeah, so the go to food saving is just arena standard. So we are delivering, we are the only company that is delivering the standard. So of course we are delivering, we are actually doing, delivering this service worldwide, but as RINA. So at the moment, the other certification body, I mean, we don't know what they are actually doing, but they can't use our standard.
Okay. So there's another question by Mr. Vivek Nair. Is there any certification body in Kerala? Kerala is a state in India. So RINA is the certification body, right?
Absolutely, we are a certification body.
Certification body. Yes. That is why. So there is no other certification body for this in Kerala, because RINA is the certification body. This is what I wanted to clarify. And another question, I'm just trying to check. I don't find any other questions. I think that's all it is. So thank you. Yes.
There was one question by Mohanji Saxena.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I guess I missed it actually. Yeah, there is one question. From Mohanji Saxena, there is a question. Is it true that in Germany they have food laws which prohibit people from wasting food in restaurants? Food can be bought for consumption, but not meant for wasting. How successfully is this food law? How successful is this law in preventing food wastages? So, is there such a law in Germany?
Actually, we checked it, we verified that, and we didn't see a precise German law. But as I was telling before, the European Union, actually, because we are working in Europe with European regulation, it's working on this aspect. So the intent is to save foods and recycle. So they are for sure using some recycle rules, and probably there are also restaurants that are doing something really specifically on that. but as far as we know, there's no specific rule. But the intent of European Union is absolutely to have more strict regulation, and is doing that. So this is why in Europe we have also a lot of app where you can switch food, and you can save food that has been already produced, also from restaurant, actually from bakeries. I mean, so we have a lot of this support in order not to lose and waste food. Absolutely. So it's working. I mean, everything we are doing at the moment, it's working. But as soon as we'll be more strict, because the European Union will give additional stricter regulation, will work for sure also more, because when of course it's mandatory, there will be the possibility to get fine, and so nobody would like to to have fine. So it's working. It's something that is taking time, but it's working, because it's going to be on the head of the people. So we are trying to think in this way, and so for sure during next year will be definitely easier, and will work better.
Maria, just a quick question.
Let
Yeah,
me add a
sure.
value to this. Let me add a word to this.
Yeah.
See, for the law as well as concerned, every country is following the Paris Agreement against the Sustainable Development Goal, right? Each and every country has free their own target of against food waste, right? And they are just adhered to fulfill that. This is what is happening in the world across, right? This is the first guidelines against the law of the food waste. So country is trying to fulfill their own target and declaring that the target is to be fulfilled according to what they have committed. Right. This is the standard where we can have a responsible food business operator and a sustainable food business operator against the target which we have freezed against the sustainable development goal. Thank you.
Yeah. Maria, I just wanted to check with you. You did make a
Yeah.
mention that most of your clientele base, the certified businesses, are from the distributor segment. So did I
Mhm.
get it right? So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
The
this is why there
restaurant,
is
catering, absolutely. At the moment, restaurant, catering, these are our main client at the moment. Also because they are, it's more easy for this kind of client to have real profit on saving food. They are managing also the recycling of the food, and as I told you, there are also app now. There are a lot of app that intend to switch. So there are program you can go online in Europe, in some country, and you can buy food that is going to expire in some shops. So this is why it's yeah, at the moment the major company that we have are absolutely on the catering or restaurant. Yes, I confirm. I cannot.
This is very important information for us, very insightful, because we may even invite you to do one more session in future for the specific audience, specific segment actually. So blood loss and food waste is part of the additional requirement in FSSC. I guess it is FSSC 22,000 standard. How
Yeah,
different would this be?
would be different, because actually it's getting this kind of the requirement that gave the FSC are just some additional requirements. This standard, it's a complete management system standard. So maybe they have you have to keep updated some just a couple of information for FSSC, but for our standard, you have to have a complete management system. So it's more complete. Of course, doing these two standard integrated will be definitely perfect, because will be, I mean, to as for 1901 as well as 22,000 or FSC 22,000. So one standard will help the other, but yeah, the difference is that for sure also other standards standard will add this requirement. Also, for example, BRC and IFS, for sure, they will integrate their standard with this information. But when they would add something as additional model, it's just limited on a small request. So this is the difference.
Yeah, just to add to
Thank
it,
you so much. Sorry. Yeah, please.
Yeah, just to
Yeah,
add to it, FSSC is now more integrating the sustainability portion, the food safety standard. So in this context, the working is about that how the byproducts or the food waste, right, which is being generated, can be converted into another, or how effectively it is being converted, or it is being discarded as a waste. For example, if some juice industry is there, how the pulp is being used or further uses. So this is what I feel now as a sustainability comes into the picture with the food safety. They integrates this. This is what I understood. Over to you. Thank you.
Yes, Santanuji, sustainability is altogether comes into the FSSC 22,000, but the food waste is one of the clause of the FSSC additional requirement, right? They have a limited scope where we are asking for this food waste in FSSC. But being in a sustainable kind of a requirement, if we have a system, this go to food saving system, we can integrate and we can assure that we are a sustainable food business operator and a responsible food business operator. Right. This can be integrated all together with FSSC 22,000 to make sure the data is very well addressed and verified by the system. And here is the value to the additional requirement of the FSSC. This is what we are trying to integrate with FSSC.
So we are trying to integrate, or so they have some requirement regarding this, the data, they want some data for that FSSC certification.
Yes, it is. There is a requirement against 2.5 point, I think 16 or 12 is the requirement of the food waste, right? And if the figure comes to this fulfillment of the requirement, if we have a system implemented down the line of this food go to food saving system, it means the data comes from right from the farm to fork, right? Then you can have very well this evaluated and validated data represented to the FSSC 22 this requirement. Right. This is what the requirement today is, as well as FSSC is concerned.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
So thank you so much. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Reena for joining us today for this session, and like to thank Alokji for his opening remarks, and Simona and Maria for their insightful presentations representing Reena. And I must thank Krishna Datta and Shantanu for bringing the consultant's perspective into the whole exercise. So we will be organizing more such knowledge sessions in future. This is something we have been doing it regularly to create more awareness and sensitization about the new standards, especially on sustainability, sector-specific standards. So we will keep inviting you all, keep visiting our website regularly. Maybe we'll invite Reena once again to do this specific session for this distribution segment like hotels and restaurants, where the standard is well accepted, and maybe we can make a beginning with that. So I have also shared the coordinator's details from Reena, Mr. O.P. Rana, his mobile number and his email ID. Anybody has any queries related to certifications and certification standard and the scheme and certification process, please reach out to him. Any queries on the consulting side, please reach out to Krishna Datta and Shantanu. We will try to compile each speaker's profile, and then we will mail it across to all of you. There are 125 registrations for this program today. Generally, what people do is they register, most of the audience, they watch the recording. All the sessions get uploaded in our channel. So they watch these recordings at leisure. At the end of the day, this is for knowledge sharing. And so we have received a very good response for this program. Evening sessions we are conducting so that it becomes easy for everyone to join. So thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Maria, for staying with us and addressing
very
all the
much.
queries. So maybe we'll catch up with you all once again. Okay. So with
Absolutely.
this, we'll come to the end of the session. We are closing the session. Right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Ramadi.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Special thanks to Anil Jori ji to connect for the connect with this consultant consortium.
Thank you. So sir is our mentor and he keeps guiding us all the time.
Yes, always. Thank you so very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.